Garrett Show, talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Hey.
Hey, Nate.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah. Did you have a good week?
Yeah.
Good. We're kind of into December, Christmas season. So what do you think? Do you think the nation's going to be all right being locked down for Christmas? Because you know it's coming.
Yeah, I know. You're right about that. And I think that a lot of people are going to ignore the orders.
We're going to see a pretty big divide here, I think, between the red and the blue states. I think a lot of the red states are not going to have it. Well, it looks like California, not only are they starting to get shut down more and more. Didn't they just have something recently where LA, they're basically not even supposed to leave your house right now?
Yeah, it's like
a walk.
It's like a 10 o'clock curfew, I think. And that's right. You're not supposed to leave.
Yeah, I think it's getting worse.
You can't drive. You can't walk. The only thing is, like, if you have to be going to an essential place. So
a big box store. So
yeah, you got to go to Walmart, right? If
you're a mom and pop shop,
right,
go fuck yourself.
Right. If you're outside walking and a cop says, "Hey, where are you going? Why are you outside?" You have to say, like, "I'm going to the pharmacy." Yeah, you can't say, "I'm just going for a walk." You're breaking the rules.
I saw somewhere else in California too. I think it's a little bit north. Just today, they basically said, well, hospitals are at 90% occupancy, so now we're going to go to this restriction. And it was kind of the same sort of restriction, basically locked back up. The other thing I'll talk about is what normal hospital occupancy is at this time of year anyway. It's always really high.
Yeah, I know.
That's the whole point of hospitals. Hospitals I think most of them are private. They're businesses. You're not going to have a hospital that's always at 10% occupancy or anything. They would go under. That would be a waste of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I read a thing that said, where it says, like, our ICUs are at 85% capacity. That's according to the thing I was reading, hospitals can just kind of add beds to that capacity. So they keep it small, and let's say they've got 15 beds in the ICU. Well, if 10 of them are used, they'll say we're at 66% occupancy. But if it gets to 15, then they can just add 15 more beds, and then they'd be at 50% occupancy. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember, this is getting a little bit personal, but when you got in the car accident and I went to the hospital to see you, and you were in the trauma ward, and they basically said, like, okay, you're conscious now and you're stable. We got to move you out of here because it's 5 o'clock. There's going to be a lot of motorcycle accidents. We need to make room. Basically, they're at 100%. No, it's not the ICU. That's a trauma ward. That's a pretty serious thing.
Yeah. I guess my whole point is, like, these statistics about hospitals, I think they're being manipulated to make things sound worse than they are. That's what I think. Have you seen these videos of dudes going into hospitals and saying, there's no one in here? Those are kind of compelling to me.
I have a friend down in Arizona that did that. And of course, he got attacked for it and everything. And
on social media, you mean?
Yep, and I think they even removed it in a couple places. Um, do you remember the videos when this first started happening in China, where they basically had people falling over in the streets like they were dying from COVID, like this? And like the news here in America was showing this and not laughing at it. And then people would be like walking up towards the hospital and falling over on the stairs,
kind of having seizures almost.
Yeah, and that's obviously fake, especially now knowing what we know.
Yep.
A lot of people were calling it fake back then, but you were a conspiracy theorist for saying it's fake. But it's just kind of funny that now, that they didn't just decide to like, you know what, I'm going to go and feed into this. Obviously, the Chinese government went and said, you're going to go and fall and act like you're dead here,
Yeah.
Just like when one of the Jing Kong ills or whatever, once he died, everyone has to go out in the street and act like they're crying, that sort of thing. If you're not crying hard enough, they basically kill you type of thing. That's what this is. I mean, this was China wanting the world to be in a fearful state.
Right. And, our media played that up quite a bit. And
big time.
I think that's how they got everyone to kind of agree to the 2 weeks to flatten the curve. They're like, look, we don't know enough about the disease. It could be way worse than we think. And they're showing us these videos of people in China just suddenly collapsing in the road.
And then we saw Italy. There's an area in Italy that got hammered, of course. And there could be a lot of different factors of that. I mean, their medical facilities aren't as numerous here. They're not as good here. It was brand new. Nobody knew how to treat it then. They were putting people on they were putting people in the ICU way too soon. It sounds like some of the measures they were using to try to help people were actually hurting them because nobody knew. And I mean, they're putting on ventilators and stuff that it sounds like they wanted. They didn't know how to clean the ventilators properly, so it sounds like it was spreading and everything. But we saw a little area of Italy that had a really high age population, and so the media, of course, showed people that 24 hours a day too. And then, who was it? One of the big news tried to take some of that footage and act like that was happening in New York and got called out on it.
Yeah.
And then they always act like, oh, we're sorry that somehow got stuck in there. They know exactly what's going on there. They're not doing this off the cuff,
For sure. They definitely know what's going on.
But then we're seeing now that even Thanksgiving's passed. Who was it? Houston's mayor. He actually went and told everyone, do not leave home, do not gather. At the same time, I think he flew to like Cabo or something. So it's so funny to see the rules for thee, but not for me. I mean, we've seen it all over. Nancy Pelosi going and getting her hair done and all of that.
Yep.
But we're going to see a lot of that this Christmas.
Yeah, we are.
Thanksgiving's one thing. Christmas is another thing, I really think. But
I know. And a lot of people didn't follow these tyrants' rules for Thanksgiving.
And they're blamed for this. You'll see it all over. Someone will post a picture of them with their family. And it's, oh, gee, thanks. Now I can't see my family for Christmas because of you. And, oh, now these small businesses are going to lose millions of dollars because of you.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Right.
We're seeing a lot.
Dude, I see that argument all the time. It's the old, we wouldn't have these awful lockdowns if you would just lock down argument.
You would just wear your mask.
We wouldn't have to wear them.
These people that don't know how a virus works, obviously. That's not how a virus works. And even if the masks do help, let's give benefit of the doubt and say they help. Yeah. Nobody is saying they're 100% cured. Because if that was the case, we'd be having packed football fields and everything wouldn't be getting delayed. We just go back to life as normal, but wear masks. But obviously we can't. But the news will use that for an excuse whenever like the Black Lives Matter riots happen or like the celebrating when Trump supposedly lost happened. It's like, oh, but they're wearing masks. All right, well then let's go back to concerts and football games and everything then. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But before we get too far into current events, it's the Christmas season. I think we got to show my favorite Christmas performance of all time. Let's go and show Patti LaBelle singing.
Oh, okay.
You got that one?
Yeah, good idea.
That one's so good.
1 second.
You know what? I'm not a big Patti LaBelle fan, but I'm a fan of just true talent. It's just true talent.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have as
I
our special
don't know what
guest
this is.
this evening the dynamic Patti LaBelle.
Oh, wait.
Patti's recording and acting career has pushed her to the pinnacle of show business.
Bye.
Here to sing this Christmas is Patti LaBelle. Welcome.
I assume that this is her song.
I don't know who this lady is, dude. I'd have to hear some of her music.
Hang all the mistletoe. I'm gonna get to know you better. This Christmas. Where are my background singers? Woo! Oh, baby, baby. And there's the wrong words on the cue cards. I don't know the song. This Christmas.
Oh my god. How great is
I'm
this?
gonna have them all I can. Because I don't have the right words and I have no background singers. Oh, I
You think you would know this song?
I love it.
It's gonna be a very Merry Christmas for you and me.
I love how she's doing this.
Yeah. Where are my background singers?
If my stage manager's an idiot.
Presents and cards are here. My world is filled with cheer and you. Oh my God, this Christmas. I
think I know the words better than her.
Next card, honey, next card.
This is too good.
Thank you.
She's earning her check. I'll say that. So they were supposed to be there and they weren't up there yet.
Looks like we just found some people in the crowd to come
Let me
up.
see that card again. Let me see that one more time because
What is that card?
The sergeant, first class, Rick Perrell playing a solo. I had to see his name. His name is on the card. Give him a big hand, please.
Oh man.
He's so annoying.
She is. She's so mad about it.
The firesides are blazing bright. We'll be caroling through the night. Christmas with me. Thank you, darling.
Fire this cue card, lady.
Oh, how do they?
Let's shake our
She
hands.
doesn't know the words of her own song. We don't have the singers out there. The cue card person's messing up.
You know, for what she had going on there, she did great. There you go.
So it actually turns out that she was lip syncing that whole thing too.
No.
No, she couldn't.
What? I was like, what? I was so confused. I was like, how they? Yeah, okay, I got it. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I love that one. I gotta watch that one every time around Christmas.
Yeah, that was funny. She did great for not knowing the words to the song and her.
To her own song? I'm
Where
guessing
are
that's
my
her song.
backup singers? And the cue cards are wrong. Sorry, everybody. Christmas.
But doesn't it seem like, going back to what we were talking about, that tensions are really super high right now? I feel like we're going to see some crazy shit coming up. I feel like people are ready to fight at a drop of a hat right now.
I agree.
And you know, the media did a good job. You know, it's been building. I think it's been building for a while, probably because of social media. I think you got one side of the nation that feels really frustrated because they see them getting gaslit by the media, and now we're seeing it by social media and big tech on top of it. And I think what that does is it creates an echo chamber for the other side. Now we have the left that sees all this, doesn't know they're gaslit, and thinks, I am so right. how dare these people not agree with me?
Right.
And I feel like tensions are really
Me too.
raising. It has nothing to do with Trump. I mean, Trump is not even a piece of this right now.
The left has been convinced that me breathing fresh air is an attack on them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's seriously weird.
You're seeing.
It's gonna be bad.
Yep.
I really do think shit is heating up. I think both sides are sick of each other. I know that the right is tired of the left, and the left hates the right's guts.
I'm hoping that with these government oversteps that's obviously happening, that it starts turning more against from like right and left to more the people versus the power. I mean, that's my dream.
I think it will. Because
I kind of do too.
People won't have a choice, you know. Even people that were like for masks and for these rules 8 months ago, all of a sudden they're going out of business. They don't have a job. Rent's due. They got to feed their kids. You know, I think a lot of people are going to go, look, I'm keeping my business open because if I don't, I will lose everything. And so it's just it's hitting the road right now. You know what I mean?
There's too many people, though, that don't understand the supply chain. They don't understand the long-term effects of this. They just kind of act like, can't we just wait for this to blow over? Nothing's blown over. COVID's here to stay. It's here forever.
Right.
But they just act like, well, why don't we just make it illegal to evict people, stop paying rent and utilities, and give people money? Well, that's not going to do. It's only going to do bad things for the supply chain. Once the supply chain goes, you go. I mean, there's a reason there's a difference between a third world country and a powerhouse. And it's not because the powerhouse prints more money than the third world countries.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I think people don't understand that.
They don't understand it at all. They don't understand that soon, if it goes the way the left wants, we'll literally be in a communist country with no food.
Look, Canada's debt has exploded so much to their GDP. I think they're up to like 58%. And supposedly once you get to like that 66%, I got my numbers wrong, but basically once you get to a certain point, it's so unsustainable, and Canada's probably going to be there soon. And you know, Canada likes to think that they're this big superpower, but I was reading something that they're not, hardly even in line right now for the vaccine. They're not producing any of it somehow. They've kind of offered nothing to the world when it comes to producing the vaccine.
There's one upside for Canada then. Dude, I hate those fucking vaccines. Yeah.
You know, I really do like Trump's thought on it. I love that he said, we're going to have a vaccine by December, who, of course, everyone basically said he lied. If you remember the Chris Wallace debate, he basically called Trump a liar by saying that. You say we're going to have that, but we're obviously not. But we do. And, of course, they waited a week after the election to tell us that it's here. And it looks like some frontline people are going to start getting it here in December. So, I mean, there's a lot of newscasts that owe Trump an apology for that. But I like his idea on it. We're gonna develop a vaccine. You do not need to have it. It's not mandatory. America gets first dibs at it. And if you want it, and you're in America, you're going to get it before everybody else because we're the one that developed this. We're the ones that paid for it. Yeah, that sort of thing.
That's fine with me.
I really like his thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's fine with me. As long as it is not mandatory. Yep. Dude, that's my biggest thing.
I think it's a great thing. Obviously, it's the most rushed vaccine in the world. The world record for vaccines like 4.5 years or something like that for a new one. So this one's super rushed. But if you're 85, 90, and you have a lot of comorbidities and you want to see your family, it's probably worth the risk. Yeah. If you're a young, healthy person, it's obviously not. But if you're in that demographic, it's probably worth the risk. And then if enough people in that demographic get it and they're fine, you don't have to worry about the long-term risk as much as somebody that's in their 30s. And then more people could get it that way then. And that is one way that they could beat this virus, really. So I think it's great to have that option.
Yeah.
Obviously something this soon and this new should not be forced on anybody. And I think this might be the first RNA vaccine too.
Yeah, I think it is. Isn't it the first ever mRNA vaccine?
Yeah, mRNA. I think it is.
So,
but do you know what I do hate? I was talking about how much I like what Trump had to say. I fucking hate what Dr. Zeke Emanuel has to say on it. For people that don't know, he kind of got big. He's more of he's a scientist, but he's been more in like politics scientist, that sort of thing. But he wrote a big article about how he hopes he dies by the time he's 75, and he gave a bunch of stupid examples and stuff he was going to do. He also came out and basically said that if this vaccine gets developed, the United States shouldn't get any first dibs on it. He basically said once America has 3% of their population vaccinated, 3% of the world should. And before 3% of the world should, the United States shouldn't. Even though we developed it, we paid for it, everything, he's basically against that. Well, he's leading Biden's COVID task force.
Right.
So,
this is the same guy that thinks everybody over 75 should die, right?
He basically said he hopes he doesn't live to be 75. He wants to die before then, he said.
Yeah, he and I agree on that. I want him to die before then,
Yes,
too.
That would be great. Anyone that shares his views.
I don't know much about the guy. But what I do know
like
sounds terrible. Yeah.
Yep. I do not like him. It's kind of scary. You know, we're always kind of told it doesn't matter really who wins the presidency. And I think most years that's right, especially with a bit of a gridlock. But just watching Biden's kind of picks and who he's working with, it looks like we're going to war soon, and we're going to be back to footing the world's bill on everything. And even this vaccine we developed, we're not even get first dibs at. There's some really weird stuff going on there.
There's so many things happening right now that, I mean, going back to what we were talking about before with COVID decimating the middle class, everyone's losing all their jobs. People aren't aware of how terrible this is about to be. It's happening worldwide, and it looks like ushering in of communism, as well as really destroying everyone's livelihoods.
People are trying to say too is like, well, it's not just hurting the U.S., it's hurting everybody else. It's not like supply chains and wealth is just a relative thing when you're talking about that. It's not. I mean, we've seen cases in the past where globally people have been way, way poor. And we're already seeing that with people dying of starvation more now and stuff. There's been times where the world hasn't been as rich as we are now, and it's been very bad. So just acting like, well, other countries are hurting too. That's not good. We don't.
Yeah, that's worse.
Other countries to do better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be worse for us and for everyone. And okay, so let's say it's kind of worst case scenario, and that nightmare situation ends up happening, which it looks like we're sprinting towards it to me. Okay, all these businesses are actually going out of business. I'm not making that up.
Tons. Yeah, tons are.
So let's say that's all happening and all true. It is.
Amazon's not.
Yeah, Amazon's tripling in money. There's ultra wealthy are making tons of money. Well, it really looks like that's how this is designed. It looks like this is on purpose.
I agree.
There's no way to argue that this is that. Look, if we end up in a communist hellhole in next year, in the next 5 years, I don't want anyone to say to me like, "Boy, what a coincidence this happened. What an accident this was."
Just like everything else, they're gonna have excuses. There's an excuse for every communist shithole that's ever existed.
Yeah.
There's always.
Well, the excuse will be, well, you didn't lock down fast enough. That's why.
You didn't
that's why we're
Trump,
in a gulag.
Trump didn't lock down fast enough, but he cut off travel from China. Yeah, he was racist when he did that.
Right. Right. And then the guard at my door will say, if you would quit begging for food, we would just give you food. But
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's that kind of argument.
That's the next thing we're going to see. And I think it's going to happen. This is a wild prediction, but we were talking about this headline earlier. In Ohio, they're allowing wrestling, which is great. They're going to allow wrestling during a pandemic to a bunch of kids that are in the least concerned category there is. But it's kind of surprising to see that they're allowing wrestling. But what they can't do to protect them from COVID is they can't shake hands before or after.
That's right. This is the level of intelligence we have.
They're going to be sweating on each other, breathing on each other, oil checking each other but you can't shake hands.
Right.
And there's so many people making fun of this that it's starting to already be like, well, why are you guys complaining? We're letting you wrestle. It's like, well, no, because the shaking hands, you're supposed to be telling us that we're following science when it comes to this, and we're following the science, and all these regulations and your freedom getting just stripped is because of science. There's no science that's going to show that shaking hands is going to reduce their chances of spreading this even 1/100,000,000%. It's not going to happen.
You know, this is exact kind of lunacy and weird rule making by stupid bureaucrats that I can't handle this kind of fucking stupidity.
Do you know I can see this going? I'm not going to say it's going to, but I can see them saying, all right.
No wrestling.
People argue enough. Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of allowing hands to be shook or even just keeping it like this, I think it's more likely they'd be like, do you want no wrestling then? And they're going to blame the people making fun of this.
I think so too, dude. And they'll say, well, you made fun of us, so I guess now we will rule from on high. You can't wrestle, even though it was apparently safe before we made fun of you for your ridiculous rules.
And you
can't shake hands, but then you can wrestle for 6 minutes.
Yes.
That cracks me up, man. It's just like, okay, when you enter a restaurant, you have to wear a mask, but when you sit down, you can take it off. But remember, in between bites, put your mask on. It's like, how stupid are we all? Anyone putting their mask on in between bites is stupid. That's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. You know? That's
another thing. I think LA now, there's no dining in or even dining in outside now. It's all back to carry out, I believe I saw.
Yep, we've got a great video for that. But before
Speaking of, you know what? Let's play that video.
Okay, let's do it. But one more thing, just like the can't shake hands and wear a mask between bites, was that prom video where they dance back to back. Look at these rules, man.
TMZ ran an article about how it was so creative, and they even said, well, at least they have a prom. How about you just give them a normal prom? Just give them a normal prom then, because it's not gonna change if they get COVID or not.
Right. Don't have them dance back to back. Who is making up these rules? You know?
Not a scientist.
No.
That's for sure.
You know what it is? I had this thought earlier. It's that, you know, if we lose freedom to these fucking bureaucrat idiots, it's like we lost to Professor Umbridge. You know? From Harry Potter. She's running the world.
She's by far the scariest villain in any book I've ever read or any story I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's right. It's all social justice points. But it's just crazy how people just act
Pepper.
like still the science.
Yeah.
Hey, Ned.
Hey, what's up, Ned? Good to see you, man.
It's us following the science. Like, no, it's not. And this is all coming from the quote-unquote party of science.
Right. But really, it's about control and like the worst kind of petty, arbitrary control with literally the stupidest shit you'd ever heard of.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, going back to it, I won't be surprised if they take away wrestling now because of this, because of the backlash.
Right. Yeah.
And then they're going to blame everyone else. Well, if you guys would have been fine with the no, do you really need to shake hands? You would have been fine with that.
Right. Okay, so this video's tragic and I think really quintessential about the cost of these would-be tyrants telling us what to do. So should we watch it, Garrett?
Let's go.
So this is my place, the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. If you go to my page, you can see all the work I did for outdoor dining, for tables being 7 feet apart. And I come in today because I'm organizing a protest and I came in to get stuff for that. And I walk into my parking lot and obviously Mayor Garcetti has approved this. Has approved this being set up for a movie company. I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here. And people wonder why I'm protesting and why I have had enough. They have not given us money and they have shut us down. We cannot survive. My staff cannot survive. Look at this.
This is so crazy, dude.
Tell me that this is dangerous, but right next to me as a slap in my face.
It makes me so mad.
That's safe. This is
Unreal.
safe.
So
50 feet away. This is dangerous. Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom is responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. And we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
So part of me wants to cry right along with her.
Yeah.
Another part, the petty part, wants me to know before I even give a shit who she voted for.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean but they didn't know what was gonna happen to him.
You know what? She should have.
Yeah.
She should have not been trying to tell people how to live their lives then, and she should have been fighting for a smaller government. I get that it's this pandemic, but it's almost like that first they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew. And we know that big government is terrible. It's evil. And we have these people voting for big government. And
Crack party.
hey,
In Victoria, Australia, there's been no new cases for almost 40 days, and today they've just allowed more than 10 people at churches. Brothels have been open for months. God, it doesn't surprise me.
I've seen that. Yep.
Holy shit. Everything's so ridiculous.
Yep. What are we saying here?
Dark Sage. Hi, Dark Sage. Regain the presidency in 2024 is through the Northeast. The region is becoming less desired. Dude, I think every state, the Democrats are going, fuck this.
The Dark Seas, the guy that just commented before you, I think it was it Crack Party? Is that you that said you thought New York had a chance of going red? So I think he agrees. I can't remember who said that. We had a commenter say that. And I think it is only like 13 points difference between, or Trump only lost like 13 points there. And that, 2024, it's going to be a crazy election.
The biggest blow to the Democrat Party ever is letting them do what they want, letting them because it destroys everything. And then people go, wait, who am I voting for?
But you made a good point earlier, like you didn't know that the pandemic was coming. People put in tyrants in a lot of, or dictators in a lot of areas, not knowing they were putting dictators in. But at the same time, the red states put in less dictators than the blue states.
Yeah.
So part of me, seriously, before I want to go and spare too much, and I know it's the petty part and I need to just get over it, but the part, before I feel too bad for her, I wanted to, did you vote for the dictator?
I know what you mean.
Are you going to vote for a dictator next election?
Right.
Will you promise to never vote for another dictator again?
Dude, I think that's a good point about what you said earlier, where when this heats up, I hope it isn't the people versus the people. I hope it's the people versus the ruling class of moron, evil people.
The Houston mayor that told everyone to stay home and don't leave their house for Thanksgiving, but he went on vacation in Cabo.
Right.
They're
all doing that.
For him. Yep. I hope they go after Newsom and him. And hopefully these
Cuomo
cops that took oaths to the Constitution are on the side of the people.
Me too. But let's
$60,000 a year is not worth it, because eventually these when this tax money dries up because small businesses are dead and Amazon and Walmart are the only tax generators, so they're going to slash taxes on there, they're going to threaten to leave, you're going to get cut too. Your 70, 80,000 is going to be less than it is now.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what he says here. Study maps, trends, and historical data. Democrats are going after the South, which is not wrong. Shifting blue. Man,
Arizona.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yep. Well, look at Arizona. They now have, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong here, Dark Sage, but they now have 2 blue senators. Both their senators are blue now. They just voted for Biden. Trump says there's some fraud there, even if it shouldn't be close. That's Arizona. He should run away with that. Texas was considered a swing state. I mean, that is really crazy.
Dude, that's a scary comment to me.
Yep.
Except that I think, like, I pray that they're wasting their time trying to steal Texas.
And you know, like what Dark Siege says, though. I mean, let's say Texas stays blue. Let's say it's a blue and it's a blue stronghold. How many electoral votes would that be then? Just Texas and California, right
God.
there.
That would be
massive.
That would be awful.
Yep.
I hope that doesn't happen. Holy cow.
Let's hope that if that happens, that Florida does stay red and that is no longer a swing state. But I'm also seeing it in the Midwest. I think, and it is not as important, but I think Iowa's going to start turning blue too. But I should say, I think that things are going to be different now. I think that this might have been an election that Biden really didn't want to win. I think he's going to be over his head. I don't think he's got a thought in his mind, but they're going to be in when a lot of this comes home to roost. And people are seeing that it is the blue states, I think anyway, that are even way worse on businesses than the red states. I hope anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be obvious. That's going to be obvious. But that's one point I want to make about this lady, okay? So let's pretend that she voted blue. She voted for Newsom and now she
probably did.
She might have. She really might have. And now they're stealing her business and shit. Well, I think that I think that she is going to wake up a little bit, right? Wouldn't you hope?
Well, here's the bad thing. People are leaving California. And they're not changing. A lot of them aren't changing their voting habits. So they're leaving their shitholes and they're going and you'll ask them, you'll go to your neighbor and say, "Oh, why'd you leave?" "Oh man, taxes were so high and I got sick of walking over human feces.
I had to be in my house by 7 o'clock every night."
And then the next day you go outside, there's going to be a Kamala Harris Biden 2024 sign.
Yeah, it's awful.
And you're thinking, what are you doing? Like, why?
Yeah, go back.
We're seeing that. Yep. That's probably part of what happened to Arizona. I mean, there's massive amounts of people from California moving to Arizona. Massive.
Oh, man. Well,
bigger cities just tend to be more blue anyway. But Arizona is a pretty red ideal state. I mean, you don't need to have a license to carry. Anyone can buy a gun, that sort of thing.
So it says here, the population centers in the Northeast are losing voters and rural turnout is remaining about the same. Florida is projected to be a solid red state by the early 2030s. Florida's damn near already a solid red state.
I believe it with the Cubans and
And I love what they're doing. Their governors, no masks, all businesses are open, and they're probably doing great. California's dying. Okay. Wisconsin are projected to be likely red by the mid-2030s.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah,
I mean, we're kind of seeing that. If you're...
Boy, that's interesting.
Yeah. The only kind of silver lining of this is that the Republicans did do down ticket way better than they were projected. I mean, even the closer presidential race than was projected, of course. But a big difference down ticket. I think every close House seat got flipped red, basically, or they won every close race and stuff.
Dude, I'm worried.
I think they're in a decent position to win the House in 2 years.
I hope so, but I'm worried about the Senate now. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's up for grabs. Supposedly, Republicans are big favorites to win. But did you see that Lynn Wood, like Trump's attorney, was telling people not to vote?
Do you see Trump came out against that today, basically?
I didn't see
basically
that.
saying, basically saying it's super important.
Yeah, you got.
There's
This is
there's
not a
50
time to
states
make
they
a
got.
stand about that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I couldn't
that'd be a
believe I
weird
saw him
stand to
saying
take.
that.
Yeah, that'd be a really weird stand to take. They need to win, even they win one of those two. So Reason Magazine, it was a big libertarian magazine. They wrote an article trying to make the case that as long as they win the Senate, which looks like they are, that we're in such a gridlock with the 6-3 Supreme Court that's more traditional, and the Senate being 52 seats, but the Democrats having the presidency and the House, that there's going to be such a gridlock that it might actually be a pretty conservative couple years, basically.
That would be great. Because, I mean, we need it badly.
In Illinois.
I'm
So
worried.
that's the only ones you think? Dark Sage is those four-ish? That's kind of interesting.
Dude, I'm just worried that Biden is going to get in there, declare an emergency, a state of emergency, and do kind of whatever he wants. You know?
Yeah. The Supreme Court is really important. The Supreme Court could really say that's illegal and there's nothing Biden can do. I should say the DNC, because Biden doesn't have a thought of his own. There's really nothing the DNC could do at that point.
Yeah.
But so that video you showed, there's a lot of subreddits on Reddit. For people I don't know, it's basically just a giant, I guess you'd almost say forum. But that video is basically banned on a lot of subreddits right now. People aren't going to see that video. They're not going to see that. CNN's not going to play it, and CNBC is not going to play it.
Anything that goes against their narrative, they censor.
Yep.
We've got to get rid of that kind of power.
Big time. In the comments, before they were kind of deleted and stuff, a lot of it was against that lady. They're kind of saying she's a hateful lady, basically. And this poor lady's crying because her livelihood's being ripped away from her.
Yep, her and everybody else.
She's the problem. She's the problem. And they'd say why it was okay because, they have rapid tests and everyone on the set is going to be tested. It's ridiculous. When is it ever going to be back to just buyer beware? If you want to take that risk, go out and do it. Because it's not muscle risk for a lot of people. Oh, good. I'm glad Fox News at least covered it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things Fox News hasn't covered recently. We're going to show the Georgia counting, where they basically, it looks like anyway, they sent home the poll watchers, said we're done counting, and they didn't quit counting. I don't know if that was shown on Fox News and stuff, so people seem to be ignoring that. But you can't count without poll watchers, and they definitely were.
There's so much
weird. How these swing states all decided about the same time to quit counting. And they all kind of announced it, too.
Yeah.
We sent everyone home. I don't remember that ever happening, especially it seemed like it was a joint effort, too.
Yeah, it looks like obvious fraud to me, and it scares me. But if they can just do blatant fraud and not give a shit, I mean, we better be able to stop them from just stealing it. But I'm worried we can't.
Hopefully, we're seeing in Europe, we're starting to see some pushback, which they're probably not showing that in the news here too, but thankfully the internet, stuff like that gets around. But we're starting to see even Europe starting to fight back against a lot of the lockdowns and stuff. Whereas if you only got your news from like CNN and Reddit and stuff, Europe's who we should be looking for. Look how good they're doing. Everyone's complying and it's getting better and they're starting to get back to normal, which they're not. I mean, look at what Crack Party just said. I mean, they're basically still shut down churches and stuff while brothels are going.
Right.
That's the weird thing is how it's okay for these people to supposedly go to Walmart and Target and all these places, but not these little mom and pop shops.
And not church.
That's a big one. So you probably saw the Supreme Court
Strip
case
clubs
in New
are
York.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, the Supreme Court ruled because of Amy Coney Barrett. She was the tiebreaker, or not? She's basically the tiebreaker, where they did have to overturn some restrictions on churches in New York.
Right.
But it wasn't. I don't understand how, if you really do have a separatist church and state, and you have a freedom of assembly, it wasn't that, hey, all right, go back to church. You can't tell churches not have people in. It was more so these restrictions on church aren't the same as the restrictions that you have on these businesses. So we're going to lighten up the restrictions on the church. I don't know how they can't just say you have no jurisdiction over church.
Good
Church can do what
point.
they want. Yeah. So I was disappointed to see that when I first saw the headline. I was thinking, oh, okay, that's good. That's a win. That's why it's important to have the Supreme Court. Because Justice Roberts, who you brought up earlier of our show, saying how he's kind of wishy-washy on some of this and might actually not be a
Yeah, I don't know.
guy,
I don't trust that guy.
He's been voting with the lockdowns basically,
Yeah.
and he's a chief justice. He wrote the dissent of it. It was pretty disgusting and reprehensible. Basically, just saying, yeah, you have your freedom, but this is a pandemic. There's nothing in the Constitution that talks about these not being you giving up your constitutional given rights because there's a virus going around.
Right. Especially one with a
We're close to a year.
99.98% survival rate.
We're close to a year on this one.
This is nuts. It's actually insane.
Yep. I know that we've been trying to do more shows where we haven't been talking as much about this and starting to do more just like current events.
But this is always it's always the current event. Yeah.
Yep. It's coming back up again.
And it's like these businesses, more and more people are saying, I'm keeping my business open. That's what this lady needs to do. She needs to just say, no, we're open for business. Come arrest me.
The government does just have so much power, though. I got a buddy that's in Davenport, Iowa, and he's got a martial arts gym. And when he got shut down, he just kind of said, screw it, I'm just going to stay open. And it did not take long where they basically said, we're going to yank your business license. I mean, that's a tough one. And then you start doing that, you no longer are protected by insurance or whatever. Next thing you know, he gets sued.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Liable.
Do you know what he should have said to them though? He should have said, "Look, we won't shake hands before we go before we do jujitsu."
Off the table, but not shaking hands.
Oh man, it's crazy times.
Yeah, and it seems like people are just at a tipping point, and hopefully they just start, instead of aiming it at each other, which the media likes and they're good at, hopefully they start aiming it at the dictators and tyrants.
I agree, man.
That would be great.
I think it's to show the tipping point we're at. I'd like to introduce a new segment that we call "The Left is Insane." Okay.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
I was really hoping we'd see a lot more of that.
Just wait, dude.
Vegas had Trump up like 7 or 8 to 1 that night, I was thinking tomorrow is just going to be a glorious
I know, that would have been so great, but we still have a chance to see it, and it might be even more insane. It
is kind of weird. I can't believe it is now December 5th, and Trump has got a long road, of course, but it's just kind of crazy. We're this late, and we haven't had the president concede yet.
I still have hope. And,
I guess we should briefly talk about that. So in Arizona, they were given about 100 ballots by a judge to go and look at the signature and the ballot. Well, they found 3% of those not being up to snuff, basically saying this is a bad signature, no signature, this ballot shouldn't have been counted, that sort of thing. He's only losing by 1/4 of a percent point there or something. So the judge actually went and gave them a much higher sample now, because those first 100, they could show that there's 3% of them were not admissible. So now they just got a bunch more ballots. So Arizona might get a little bit interesting. Georgia, we kind of alluded to that video going around. Well, because of that, it looks like the secretary of whatever is pushing for like a signature type audit too. And that might make that a little bit interesting. And then Pennsylvania, it looks like that might actually be going to the Supreme Court. Are they actually kind of looking into that? Some of those ballots. I mean, those are the 3 states. Those are the ones that really would matter. he's got, I think, still almost no chance. But it is just weird that we are here in December 5th and it's still being talked about. And bookies still have that open and they haven't collected or paid out and stuff. But
I still think, I mean, look, if the fraud is real, which it looks like it is to me, then Trump ought to win if he actually won.
It's crazy enough. Like we talked about the day after the election, we're just kind of saying this looks real bleak. How can people still have any faith in Q? How are people still trusting Q? I talked to someone that's a really big Q believer, I guess you'd say, Q follower. And he's basically just like, thinks I'm nuts. Like, don't you see? Look how crazy this is. This is all planned. This is going according to plan. Trump is not going to leave office. He's going to win that. So I can kind of see if you really did buy into Q, why right now could be a pretty interesting time.
That's how I feel, man. I love it. I love that it's put up or shut up. If Trump wins, I'm going to be really interested in Q. And if he loses, I'm going to be done with it.
But you know what I don't believe anymore is the watermark ballots. We would have heard something by now.
Yeah, you're right. And that was all.
I think that is kind of expired. Yeah. And that was what a lot of the Q followers were talking about right away. They're just saying, look, they're saying, look to the waters and the Craigie. And all of this really means that there's watermarks here. And look to this Q drop from whatever Q drop. This is him basically saying. And I don't buy it. I don't think that the ballots are watermarked.
Well, it's great because in the next month we're going to find out if there's anything true to this or not. I love that about it.
It's kind of an all or nothing.
Yeah, it's right now. It's like, okay.
Trump, you know what? I'll go on record with you. If Trump wins, I'm a Q believer.
Yeah.
If he loses, Q's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
And no matter what your next drop says, whatever excuse you use,
I don't want to hear
it's
it.
obviously false. Yeah.
And
you had over 4 years.
We have it all. Nothing can stop what's coming. Yeah. Trust the plan. Trump's a genius. He's got him on the ropes. Oh, sorry, we lost to Biden.
3-day blackout while we arrest Hillary.
Right. Yeah. Patriots are in control. Now, look, if he wins and he's still in it, this isn't over. I think he might win. Okay? And I still have some faith in this.
It about a 7-1. I mean, that's what Biden was down election night.
Yeah.
So we've already seen it flip once that way anyway.
So I still have hope, man, and I really hope he wins somehow.
Yeah. But if he does, I'm going on record as a Q believer.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, no matter what excuse Q does, no matter what, I am not a believer anymore.
Yeah. I don't like
0%. Yep.
Right. That would be exactly like a doomsday guy going, the world ends on November 20th. And then the 20th comes and goes, and they go, oh, actually, I recalculated.
Yeah, did the math wrong.
Nope. Yeah. Okay, so let's show this one more time.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
And then let's show some examples of the left being insane, okay? Like this one.
Fucking mask on.
I'm sorry, you can walk away from me right now, sir.
Put your mask on.
Get away from me,
Put it
please.
on. Does it bother anybody else that she doesn't have to wear a mask that we all do?
Oh, I gotta...
Just go away. Stay 6 feet away from me then.
No.
Get away from me.
No. Yeah.
Please get away from me right now.
No.
You don't need to come near me.
She has it on her damn hand.
Get away from me.
This guy.
Walk away from me, sir. Please get away from me.
What a psycho.
You don't
I wish
care.
I was there.
Leave me alone.
I know people say that a lot.
Stay 6
feet away from me then.
Cannot infect my baby.
God, get out of here.
He was...
There's a couple of things about that.
Yeah.
One, if he's really fucking worried, stay away from her.
Exactly.
Don't be charging her. If she's that dangerous, look at him there. He doesn't have his mask over his nose.
Oh, yeah.
That's the proper way.
So arrest his ass.
So stay away from him if you're that worried. And if you're that worried, don't leave your goddamn house to go to a Hobby Lobby.
Absolutely.
You know, if it's that deadly out, you could do without.
Yep, kick him in the nuts. Exactly.
I really wish we talked about last show how every able-bodied person should know jiu-jitsu. This would be a good one.
This is why.
Throw this old fuck down and do some knee on chest, and it looks like you're just holding him, but you're breaking his ribs.
Yeah.
I showed this to somebody, and he said, God, I wish someone would do that to me. This guy wouldn't do this to a male. He's only going to do this to a female. This guy's a coward. Or a kid. A female or a kid.
Yeah.
And he felt so justified when that first happened. Someone first said, you probably saw it, but they said, do you want us to call security? He thought he was talking to him. He turns around and thought he was an ally.
Yeah.
And says, yes.
Yeah, call security on her.
And then when he found out that he wasn't being perceived as the superhero here by picking on a lady, that's when he bolted.
Yeah, he was shocked to find that the crowd was against him.
Yep.
And he was pissed off about it.
I love that one lady. She's not going to infect my family.
Yeah, if he believed that at all, like you said, he wouldn't go towards her. He wouldn't talk to her.
Oh.
He'd run out of the store. Get the fuck out of there, man.
Yes. Is your your toy duck you're buying at this weird shop really worth risking your life for?
Yeah, man. When I was in San Diego, I would wear a mask going into the grocery store, okay? But I never wore it outside. And lots of people were, all right? And it was like technically a rule at one point, and I just wasn't doing it. And if no one ever said anything to me about it. Some people looked at me, but no one ever said anything to me about not wearing the mask. But if they had, I would have said, look, if you see me coming, you should run as far away from me as you can to stay away from COVID, you know. But I'm going to walk down the street. You run away.
I think if you went back right now and did that, they would absolutely say something to you.
Probably.
Did you see that there's a video where someone's hiking and there's nobody around and someone approaches her? Did you see that one?
I love that video. I wish we had that pulled up.
Me too.
We didn't think about it because it would be perfect for our The Left is Insane segment.
And she's just like, what were he or was it like, so what's your issue? He's like, you're not wearing a mask. Get away from me.
They're on a trail.
Out here.
I mean, could we find it real quick, do you think?
Probably. Hiker doesn't wear a mask, maybe.
We'll try it.
But what we noticed, we were trying to find some of these videos beforehand. It is very hard to find a video that doesn't make the people not wearing the mask look like the bad guy.
I know. I haven't seen this. Dude. Do you read the title of this?
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to fit really nicely.
Tonight, Ashburnham police are looking for this man who claimed he had COVID.
What the fuck is this guy doing?
And then spit at two women on a hiking trail. That man was apparently upset that the women weren't wearing masks.
And they shot the...
Once again, he's not going to do that to a male. He's going to do that to a female or a kid because he's a coward. Did you see where an old lady maced some people having a picnic because they weren't wearing masks?
Yep, I saw that too.
How about that one?
Look how much the left has weaponized these complete morons into attacking their neighbors. They feel righteous.
If somebody starts spitting at me telling me they have COVID, I'm fighting that person. That's an assault right there.
Oh yeah, anybody spits at me, we're gonna fight.
Yes.
This dude, so he's so mad at them for not wearing a mask. He's going to spit on them and tell them he has COVID.
Yeah.
I just the logic of it is not there. But these people are so dumb anyway. That's probably why. It's the same as that dude walking towards the lady.
That video was on Reddit, and the comments are just about what you would expect. They were calling him like chaotic good alignment type of thing, acting like he's not. That
pisses me off.
Yeah.
That dude is stupid evil. That's his alignment.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Fuck me.
Oh, you always show this next time too.
Yeah, that's a great video about we happened to come across a new one of a guy on a trail doing it.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of these. Jeez.
We're only going to see more of that. We're going to see more people get sick of wearing these masks and being told this. If you're wearing a mask when you're hiking, you're not following the science at all. And that's supposedly what this is about, but as the wrestling story shows us, it's not at all.
No. I think the science...
I
think real science shows the masks are detrimental, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh,
you should show the CNBC clip, too. Speaking of business being shut down and people tempers flaring over. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Go to CNBC gets heated. That's basically, it's kind of, this one's a viral one. Yeah.
Okay,
I think this one will be easy to find.
But first, I want to play this one just for the Left is Insane segment, okay?
Okay.
Here is video number 2 for the, or 3, I guess, for the Left is Insane.
Square! Slash his throat! Every fucking Republican! Suck my fucking balls!
Say that one more time.
Slash Republican throats! Slash fascist throats! Get the fascist! Have a good one! Out square!
That is for sure a moderator on World News on Reddit. There's no doubt.
Holy shit! Look at this. Okay, so let me say one thing about this. This dude is pathetic, and it's like funny, kind of. Okay, it's funny and how pathetic this dork loser is, but he is actually murderous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Like he's a bad day away from strapping a bomb and going and blowing up the young Republicans' glove on camera.
Absolutely, he would love to do that.
And
can you
probably an incel too?
Oh, he's an incel. This dude is an involuntary celibate. I can tell you that.
He thinks this is gonna give him some brownie points.
Yeah.
He's gonna put a stick of dynamite in his fedora.
Oh God, man! But can you imagine if this was a Republican saying that about Democrats?
Yeah, love Trump's hate. The party of tolerance here.
Yeah.
When the people he's yelled at just basically saying, "Have a good day,"
which was a great comment by her.
Yeah, great. That's way better than what I would do and try to make fun of him for being an incel and trying to goad him on.
You know, I know it isn't fair of me, okay, but this represents the Democrat Party to me now. I think that this dude has way more control of the Democrat Party than like a rational Democrat.
Go Google, but probably don't, because there's like if you Google like Reddit meetup, that is what the Democrat Party is. Speaking of, there is a chance we're going to see a bit of a schism in the Democrat Party, and we're already seeing it. Barack Obama basically tweeted out saying that the phrase "defund the police" is a phrase that just shows frustration. And then AOC basically says, "No, it's not. We're actually want action." We're starting to see the younger. This guy, the crazy, the
younger extreme communist.
Yep. He's kind of getting behind AOC. And we have the other side of the party knowing that this is not how to win elections. It's going to get a little bit weird.
That's kind of encouraging.
Yep. I think we are in the age of tyrants right now, and it's only going to last for about 2 years. I think then it's either the people are going to rise up, the primaries are going to get here and they're going to get crushed, and we're going to have to see the media start to stop giving these guys a pedestal. That's what's happening. This guy gets a pedestal, or his views do, every day, while you have 77 million Americans having theirs basically censored. That's what's causing a lot of this boiling point, I'm pretty convinced.
Well, before we can have a big red wave in the Senate and stuff, we need to secure the election process. You're right. It cannot be this stupid.
You're right.
Because I don't trust it at all.
No. And I think I saw something like Rasmussen did a poll, like 75% of Republicans don't think that the election was above board. And it was something like 25% of Democrats really didn't believe it was above board.
Yeah, that's a lot of Democrats
you're right.
to think
it kind of just matters who's counting the votes rather than
right. We've got weird machines that cheat, you know.
Well, even just the whole signatures, like that's not going to do anything. Why can't you show an ID?
We have to do a voter ID, and I think we should do some kind of blockchain. And I also think everything should be filmed, that everyone can watch it the whole time. We have
not have it online?
We have to have kind of, what do they call that? We need to crowdsource election verification, but also keep it. We need to have several ways to verify it and keep it recorded the whole time and do it in some way that is better than 1750 and also way better than 2020.
I think 1750 was probably better than what we're doing now.
I do too.
I think
so we should do
it
at least that good. Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
Get rid of these machines.
If we go back and look, it would be better there. I think you just had to basically show up and vote.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we got to do something. That's my point.
Yep.
I don't know what.
Yep.
Though. Okay, so how do I find that CNBC video?
Put like CNBC. You start typing in CNBC, it might even come up, but and it's not. There you go. Fight is probably it. It's probably the top one. Yeah, there it is.
This video is great, dude.
Rick,
I love this old guy.
I just wanted to just highlight something that the background of this whole discussion comes with what we're seeing in terms of COVID cases. And we're seeing, maybe stimulus. We're seeing calls for.
You could just go towards the end of it.
Things down, but certainly there are some calls to close
families, which they've taken out into restaurants. Therefore, there is actually and should be an ongoing debate
right when those
as
two
to
guys go on, basically.
They need to be much more.
Oh, I'm
careful.
sorry.
We're
go when you saw
forward?
those two guys. Yeah, go forward a bit till you see the two guys. Right about there. Go back just a bit. Yep, right there. We good.
necessarily the only answer.
Rick, I just as a public health and public service announcement for the audience, the difference between a big box retailer.
Who is this?
Hold on. The difference between it's Andrew.
Who else?
The difference between a big box retailer. Hold on. The difference between a big box retailer and a restaurant, or frankly even a church, are so different. It's unbelievable. Going into a big box retailer,
I disagree.
You're wearing
You can
a mask.
have your thoughts, and I can have mine.
You're required to wear a mask.
I disagree.
It's science. I'm sorry. It's science.
It's
If you're wearing a
science.
mask, it's a different story.
Walmart is safe.
76 genders. It's science.
Then 150 people in a restaurant that holds 600. I don't believe it. Sorry. Don't believe it. And I live in an area where there's a lot of restaurants that have fought back and they don't have any problems. And they're open.
Okay. You don't have to believe it, but let me just say this. You're doing a
I don't,
disservice
and I
to the
won't.
viewer because the viewers need to understand it.
You are doing a disservice to the viewer. You are. You are.
What a smug little prick this dude is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I would like to
You are
keep our
sorry.
viewers as healthy as humanly possible. The idea of packing people into
What a
restaurants.
I think
hero.
our viewers are smart enough to make part of those
Best Buy
decisions
are
on their own.
completely different
I don't
things.
think that I'm much smarter
different
than
things.
all the viewers like some people do.
Can I get in here?
God, I love that old guy, and I hate this young prick.
Yeah, I would love to fight. I'd pay 10 grand to fight that guy. For real.
You know, it offends me that this dipshit can say, going to Walmart is so safe, and going to a church is dangerous. Yeah, well fuck you.
They found out this was actually the same guy that was attacking the female in the other video, by the way. But you know he's thinking he's getting the same. He's smiling there because he thinks he just made it. He thinks he just made his shitty career. He's thinking that people are going to be, he's going to be a hero. And
yeah, he's extremely smug about it. He just thinks, oh, this old guy doesn't know science. Oh,
the science card is turning into the new race card.
Absolutely.
You don't agree with me? You're racist. You're racist. Now it's science. It's
science. You don't agree with me? You don't agree with science. Whatever I think is science, whatever you disagree with, that's just your opinion. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, it pisses me off. It really does. And it makes me want to say things like, oh, okay, well, just, well, I guess I don't believe in science then, if whatever you think is science.
You were worried about getting canceled for half a second there.
No, I was worried about how mean can I say this, you know what I mean?
Oh, maybe pull up your email. We'll do a little bit of, I want to show you some non-political stuff just to break it up. Maybe.
Nice, good idea.
Did you hear about the high school football player that hit the referee?
No.
Go to this one here.
Okay. Hang on, I'm gonna go to the YouTube.
We got 2 fouls on the defense. We got a personal foul laid here on the quarterback, number 88.
This is a high school. game.
And non-sportsmanlike conduct, number 88 on the defense, has been disqualified.
Ooh.
So
steroids.
We probably just saw someone ruin
their life.
Oh yeah. So he goes on he got arrested. But this guy was all-American and stuff. Like he was highly recruited, supposedly by colleges and stuff too.
Oh no.
He's banned from high school sports. I think they kicked this team out of the rest of the season and stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah, what an idiot. It's hard to have sympathy for him, but I'm sure he's probably not going to get picked up by college now and stuff.
Probably not.
Yep.
What a moron.
Yep.
Here's
but he's a dumb high schooler.
And we have 2 fouls.
Right, he's a dumb high school. He's probably on steroids or something. I mean, it's hard to explain how dumb you'd have to be to do that.
Yeah, they do. They kind of make fun of like the NFL. They try to put these guys in suits and try to like have them go to charities and be like giant teddy bears. But every other day they're telling them to smash people and go and kill this guy and rip off their heads.
Right.
And I can see the dichotomy, how that would be a little bit hard to turn on and off and stuff. But
yeah, that's true.
But I've always thought it was weird. Like you'll see somebody throw a sucker punch or do something on a sports field that's obviously assault, but they act like because this has happened in a game that you can't get charged with assault and stuff. And you see people not get charged a lot of times. I was actually surprised to hear that guy got charged. It's weird how they almost have an immunity for that. It's almost like the governing body's like, oh, we'll got it. We'll take care of it. Suspended 3 games. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If somebody would go and do that to someone in real life, they get arrested. This guy's getting suspended for 3 games.
Right. That is weird because obviously it's a crime. Like, I'm glad he's getting charged.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad he's not being allowed to play.
Not to mention, that was a sucker from
big time. Yeah, that's an old guy. He basically hit. The guy had a concussion, and I guess they had to basically get an ambulance out there to get him out of there. Like he hit him hard there.
Yikes.
So our last show, we showed that female versus male fight. Go back to your email again. We showed the female versus male fight. We're making fun of it because it was rigged.
Yeah.
Go to fixed fight right there.
Okay.
So this is in Mexico, and we don't have to watch the whole thing. But basically, this is a Mexican politician. Go to like where they're announced them. Go like probably like minute 30ish. Minute 30ish. Right there. Go there. Yeah, right there. Look at this guy. The guy's doing. He's supposedly 9-0 with 9 knockouts.
Okay.
Look at this. He's got obviously the pec implants.
Yeah. You look weird to me.
He looks like he's got the synthol injection, and he's for sure got filler in his face.
Yikes.
They're calling this the worst boxing fix ever, basically. But he's like a politician. If this guy accidentally hurts them, they're gonna probably kill him.
Alam mo, natatakot ako kay referee Libres, baka maipit siya dun sa... yung dalawang malaki. Paano mo kaya pag-break itong dalawang ito? Pero this is very interesting, to be honest with you. This guy, Kawagi. 11 wins, no defeat, all by knockouts. Pero, bakit ito? Medyo methodical.
Is the crowd laughing?
Medyo awkward.
I think so.
He has not fought for 10 years. One punch.
Come on.
Maniwala ka.
But that guy's so bad at boxing. I don't know if you're a real professional boxer, how else you can really fake this.
What is going on here, dude? He's a weird looking dude.
That's how I punch in my nightmares when I'm like trying to punch. I'm punching underwater.
Me too.
He throws punches in slow motion.
He throws punches in slow motion.
But he's a lawyer. He's a law graduate.
This is insane.
Referee Libres ang laban because Olivas is just getting pummeled. Nakita mo naman.
This poor dude beats him. He probably gets killed.
set the record.
Yeah, just look at that guy what he looks
This
like.
fight was requested
Yikes.
by Fernando Beltran of Zanfa Promotion. All right? And
That's it. That's the fight.
That's it. That was
yeah, they call it a technical knockout.
That was the ugliest thing I've ever seen right there.
Yeah. So that 500-pound male versus that 130-pound female sold it way better than that one did.
Yeah, they did. That was some bad acting.
Yeah.
His body looks like PS2 graphics. That's a great comment.
There's some funny people out there.
Yeah, there is. Oh man.
Yeah, he puts him in a hard position. Like, it's for real. If he wins, he probably gets killed.
Right.
Dude, under
It looked
no
like-
circumstances you win this fight.
It looked like that guy didn't want to risk accidentally punching a weird-looking dude.
Keep Barney Carter. You could probably go to the average jazzercise or jabs and find someone that can legit beat that guy.
Oh yeah. And then they.
Well, should we talk about? And we could just get back into what we were talking about. I just figured we'd break it up a little bit because, we could get into the crazy conspiracy that kind of goes in with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
it does. So, right before we do that, I want to say one thing about this little video I'll show. And that is that if there ends up being World War III or some wars, Garrett, I want you to know that the British military and the U.S. are allies. So, I don't think we have much to worry about. And here's why. Okay?
I don't know how you do what you do. I'm so in love with you. It just keeps getting better.
This is not satire.
I wanna spend the rest of my life with you by my side forever and ever.
Alright, I'm just gonna end it.
You know what's hilarious? That song actually brings a little bit of nostalgia, bringing me back to being a kid.
Yeah.
How massively popular. You go to the skating rink, and it would be like couple skate, and they'd be playing the song.
But when you think of that song, do you think of a British soldier?
I think you have ass kicking.
I'm gonna have to from now on, though. This is like a Ricky Gervais skit to me. This guy. This poor British idiot here.
Did he just get beat up in the comments?
I'm sure he did. I've seen.
Well, he obviously looks really soft too. On top of that,
You see this comment? I've seen deadlier looking sausage rolls. Okay, but yeah, should we do the?
Let's do it because that kind of works into what we're talking about anyway.
Crazy conspiracy theory. Okay, so this is a really interesting little thing that just happened. I think it happened yesterday. And let me bring up a thread. Let's see. Okay, so essentially this guy named Harrison Deal, he worked for Kelly Loeffler. What's her name? He was on Kelly Loeffler's staff, and he was dating Governor Kemp's daughter I think that's the governor of Georgia, right?
Yep.
And this is a picture of him. He's a 22-year-old kid, and just a nice-looking young man. And yesterday, I think, or the day before, he died in a car crash, okay? In like a fiery car crash. And the thing that's interesting about the car crash itself is that people are saying it was a huge explosion. Here's the pictures of the cars.
Ooh.
Like, look at this. They're black, you know?
Yeah.
That's burned out. And there's some videos, which I have here too. Let me see if I can find the threads. Okay, so here's a picture of or a little video of it. You know.
So did he get Seth Riched? Is that the conspiracy?
Yeah,
basically?
exactly. That is.
So what does he know?
Right.
Do you know? I heard that there's a chance they were actually after the governor's daughter because supposedly they drove they shared a car essentially.
Okay, so speaking of that, the day before this happened, Governor Kemp called for audits of the signatures. Okay?
Yep.
So he calls for the signatures to be audited, and then this car explosion happens. So maybe you're right. Maybe they were going for his daughter as a warning to him, like, and also to say, like, we'll kill your family.
Yeah.
And maybe they were going for Harrison Deal to give Governor Kemp that same warning. You know? Say, look, we're going to kill your daughter's boyfriend, and your daughter's next.
And it is weird for a modern car to go up in flames that much, I would think, just by looking at how burnt out that is.
Dude, there are comments of people saying, like, we heard this from half a mile away. We thought it was a bomb going off. Lots of people are saying it was a huge explosion.
Are there eyewitnesses of the actual accident? Because
I don't know.
Was it a 2-car accident?
I think it was a 2-car accident. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much. There hasn't been a lot of time. But there's a couple of very weird... Okay, so here, look at this comment first. Can you read this?
Yep.
Okay, so I was at my mom's house literally half a mile from the accident, and we thought that a plane had crashed or a bomb dropped because the explosion was that loud. The windows shook and everything reeked of oil within seconds. Lots of people are saying this was like a bomb in his car.
Huh.
And, you know, when 2 cars crash, you see tons of crashes on the interstate and highways.
All the time.
Have you ever seen a giant explosion blackened? Because I haven't. I've seen cars on fire, but I haven't seen huge explosions. So that's really suspicious, right?
Yep.
Now, here's a couple of the weirdest things, okay? 40 minutes before the car crash, read what Governor Kemp tweeted. Okay? Here's Governor Kemp's tweet. We're proud of our progress, but we can't take our foot off the gas. That's the interesting part, okay? We're still facing down a once-in-a-century pandemic, and we need all Georgians to hunker down, follow the guidance, and help us protect lives and livelihoods. But I think it is kind of odd and sort of interesting that 40 minutes before this car crash explosion, Governor Kemp tweets, we can't take our foot off the gas. What do you think of that?
Were you thinking he had knowledge of this? Or he was in on it?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he put a hit on this kid, or maybe he was just trying to get out a message about it or something. I don't know.
Are people talking about that?
Yeah, they're saying it's odd, and that's all I'm saying. I think it's
talking
odd.
About crazy conspiracies and stuff. Q tries to always use the whole there's no coincidences. So I'm sure that there's people saying that can't be coincidences. There aren't coincidences, but that's a pretty broad phrase to say there's no coincidences.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like this. He quotes him, can't take our foot off the gas. And then 40 minutes later, his daughter boyfriend dies in a fiery car crash. All I'm saying about it is it's weird. I don't know if it's proof of anything. I sure as hell don't know. I don't know why they would kill him if it was a hit.
Yeah, unless he got Seth Ricks. Is there something he knows? But I think it was Seth Ricks. It sounds like he was more. And of course, his family says he wasn't hit. That's still in the crazy conspiracy file. It's just one that happened.
Which we'll have to do a crazy conspiracy.
Yeah,
because I think he was killed, and I think it's because he was leaking things to WikiLeaks or he knew too much.
He was the mole, so it's kind of different. But yeah, it's it is interesting timing. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it is. Whoops.
I might as well play it.
All right. Here's a break.
This is the next step.
We're all going to be wearing this the rest of our lives. But anyway, it's obviously a horrible tragedy that this young man died.
Yep.
But there's some weirdness around it, and people are speculating about it, obviously. But I really don't have much of a theory other than to say this is weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit too new, really.
Yeah, it's too new.
It will be interesting to see if stuff does come out about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear who the SEC? Because you don't watch football, obviously, right? Especially college football.
No, I watched the Husker game a couple times, but.
So take a guess on who the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week was last week.
That girl kicking the.
She got it. They gave it to her. So they not only that, the write-up. I tried to find the write-up before the show because I ran into it, and it is pretty funny. It basically is like Sarah kicked a perfectly kicked ball that sailed 25 feet or something ridiculous.
Did it say
or 25 yards?
Did it say perfectly kicked?
Yep, perfectly kicked. It says.
We live in a bizarro world because that kick was awful.
So that's a participation.
Look at me. I'm going to get canceled because I think this was a terrible kick, and I'm going to say the truth about that girl's kick sucked.
It gets a little bit funnier, too. So since then, she it's kind of word came out that she gave a basically a pep speech at halftime of this game. So this is a team that hasn't won this year. They haven't won forever. And she went into the locker room and had the audacity to basically tell them that their energy levels weren't high enough and they need to be cheering. And our soccer team, when we won, we were cheering for each other nonstop and we held people accountable. And you guys aren't doing that. And
yes.
She made this really condescending speech. And so the internet is starting to even turn on her. I guess it was that condescending.
How you think the guys in the locker room took that?
Oh, could you imagine having to sit there and act like you care what she says? And then they even asked her later.
Put her in at linebacker.
So you have to replay that kick because you can tell she's nervous. And I even said last time we were doing this, I feel bad for the girl. She's nervous. She had a bad play. They kind of asked her, "Are you nervous?" She's, "No, I was. Football is such a slower game. When we won the SEC soccer championship, I was way more nervous."
She sounds awful to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people turning on her right now. The coach is fired, by the way. He got fired that week.
For what?
For being that terrible.
For picking a kicker, it sucks this bad.
It sounds like this might have been a last-ditch effort for him to hold his job
because they couldn't fire him if he put in a girl
basically.
Kicker. He's smart. He knows how this works.
It's kind of like the Kaepernick story. Kaepernick wanted starting quarterback money, and he's not worth starting quarterback money because he's a backup. But then he could kind of say, "Well, I'm getting blackballed because I kneeled." It sounds like the coach was trying to do something a little bit similar here. You can't fire me. I just played the first female kicker.
Sounds like that sounds like a smart play by him.
Yeah, but
according to today's world. Yeah, well, he sucked too much. Okay, but Garrett, you say that the magazine said it was a perfect kick, and I know even the announcers right here talk about what a great kick it was.
They had chills.
And they